Hi folks, I hope all of you are doing well, and many of your offices would have started, many of your even educational institutions would have started in a very phased manner, at least through online classes. So today I come to you with a different topic, to talk to you about a different topic. Personal development is something that all of us are trying to improve. Even I am trying to improve myself. I try to be a better person today than I was yesterday. I think that's what all of us are striving towards, both in the professional sphere as well as in our personal sphere. Coming to that, today I want to talk to you about a few modern day etiquettes which many people either forget to appreciate or forget to follow. There are many reasons. And only when they face a setback or some issue at their workplace or at their education institution do they realize that, okay, I should have done this in such a manner. So that way I wanted to talk to you about a few modern day etiquettes. Okay, before I start, we need to understand what is an etiquette. I know most of you know, but still, for a sense of completeness, etiquette can be defined as a kind of code of polite behavior in society. It's something that society has given, taken and arrived at an optimum level as a social code, you can say. So it's like a code of polite behavior in society. So when you look at that, society itself has evolved over the years, from the Middle Ages through the Renaissance period through the freedom struggle age to the modern times now. So what was considered as polite behavior earlier might not be polite now, and vice versa. Okay, so that is etiquette. It's basically a code of polite behavior in society. Now coming to a few modern day etiquettes, there are a lot of modern day etiquettes that people follow. Especially there are a lot of new mediums that have come up, right? Emails, social media, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, a lot of Instagram, Outlook, Gmail. Even in email you have a more personal email, you have a professional email, a lot of things. So there are a lot of etiquettes that if you follow, things would be smoother in your long-term relationship with your colleagues and your bosses in the company. Some things are a bit overboard, but there are a few basic things which if you follow, it will be good. I know that most of you might be knowing about this, but for those who don't know, I thought I will share. More importantly, if you feel there are some more etiquettes that are new in the modern age, applicable in the modern age that you have come across, please do share it in the comment section below, so that I also get to know. I am also trying to improve and sharing my knowledge and receiving knowledge from you. This is a global platform. Okay, to start off, let's look at a few email etiquettes. Okay, I will talk from a point of view of the academia where I am involved. Okay, to start off about writing emails. Many people have this misconception, especially in India, that only in India there is this thing called calling people by sir, dear sir, respected sir and all, and everything is so free in the West. In the US they'll just call you by their first name. You don't have to call sir. Calling sir is so medieval and so Renaissance era types. That is not true. That's one misconception that I want to shatter today. So let's say I don't know if you know Robert Langer. Robert Langer is a very celebrated scientist. If you happen to meet him suddenly, first time in your life, you don't go ahead and call him Bob, though he might be okay with it, but that's not an etiquette. So in the academics field, you cannot just directly go and call Bob. Okay, you will call him Robert Langer. If you know that he is a professor, you will call him Professor Langer. If you know that he has a PhD but he is not really in an academic position, you can, for a safe bet, you can call him Dr. Langer. Okay, so coming to writing an email, if you are for the first time going to interact with someone, let's say in a faculty position or someone who has completed a PhD, you should always address that person in your first communication, in your first email communication, as Professor Langer or Dr. Langer. I'm just taking Robert Langer's example here. It can be any person. Let's say it is Susan Nancy. So let's say Professor Nancy. Dr. Nancy, dear is fine, respected is also fine. Dr. Nancy, Professor Nancy, you keep a very formal content of your email, and then you close your email by telling best regards, my sincere regards, and you sign off with your first name. Now here is the catch. It's kind of like a first contact social contract. Okay. So when you email, there are a lot of professors who have their own preferences, especially when it's an old professor. They would prefer to be called as professor itself, or even Dr. Nancy or Professor Nancy. They may not like to be called by their first name except for a very close-knit group of students and colleagues. Okay, how do they let you know about that? That is the whole catch. So when you are initiating a conversation, you send a mail by addressing them like Professor Nancy or Dr. Nancy. Dear Professor Nancy, dear Dr. Nancy. Then you write your mail. Then you wait for their reply. Now when they reply, they will reply back telling Dear Anil or Dear whomsoever, blah 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 blah, their mail, and you have to observe how they are signing off their email. With regards, if they sign off as with regards, if they sign off with their first name, let's say Susan, if Susan Nancy, Dr. Susan Nancy or Professor Susan Nancy is their name, if they sign off their reply with their first name, that means warm regards Susan or warm regards Susan. If they sign off or sincerely Susan, that means that they are giving you the right and the permission and the privilege of addressing them by their first name in the follow-up emails and follow-up conversations. Instead, if they just sign off as regards Dr. Nancy or regards, they will not call themselves as Professor Nancy, so they'll just sign off as regards Nancy. Even if they sign off with their second name, right, last name, that means that they want to keep a definite distance between you and them. This is the indication. You have to see the first conversation, how it goes, and then keep a track of how they are closing it. Maybe after a period of time, when they come to know you better, they would want to have a closer relationship with you. At that point, they will sign off their email as regards Susan with their first name. That is the point where you can address them in your next email as Dear Susan. Okay, not until then you don't have that privilege. You can always do that, nobody is stopping you from that, but it might not go down well with them. Okay, so this is one thing. In other places, especially in Europe, people actually call dear sir, and they would like to be called sir. They don't have a problem with it. So if you call somebody, if you send a first email like dear sir or dear professor, dear sir, and you write everything, and if they expressly reply, no need to call me sir, you can call me by your first name. Some people even do that in their email. Then you have got the liberty to address them with their first name. Okay, this is one misconception. It is not like everything is so chill in the West that you can directly go and call somebody by their first name. There are some rules, unsaid etiquettes in this. So this I wanted to tell you. Okay, this is first thing. The next modern day, very important, much ignored etiquette is applicable to both emails and social media conversations. Okay. Some people will argue that don't tell about etiquettes in WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a social media, it's a very personal platform. But the thing is, the world has evolved so much that even in WhatsApp, official conversations do happen. You have to accept it. Many of the work gets done through conversation through WhatsApp. Okay. Now, main thing is, some people, I don't know if they realize it or accidentally they do it or they purposely do it, they write their entire email content in several sentences of capital letters. Full capital letters. I would like to inform you that everything capital. That's a very strict no. When you write to someone, either in email or in your text messages with full capital sentences, that literally means like you are shouting at them, that you are angry at them, you are not happy with something that they did. So please don't ever do that. Don't write complete sentences in capital letters. That amounts to shouting. That amounts to venting your anger on that person, knowingly or unknowingly. Then you might think that, okay, why should I bother about what these people think? I have to communicate what I think. But the thing is, these are unsaid rules. If you don't imbibe within you, start inculcating these habits, occasionally it might come out from you and you might lose an opportunity in that process. You don't have to lose an opportunity for a very small mistake of yours. So if you keep this in mind, right, it will help a lot. These things I have also learned over a period of time, so I thought I will share. So one is addressing people. There are certain rules to it. Next is use of capital letters in complete sentences. Please avoid that. Next is next etiquette is something to do with WhatsApp conversations. It can even be applied to personal conversations also. And this is something that is frowned upon, but many people do that. They don't even realize it, but many people do that. The thing is, what I want to tell is the use of the word K. Okay, the K word. It's even called the K bomb now. Somebody will keep telling you a lot of things and then you just reply K, not even an OK, you reply K. Okay, dear Anil, I would like to talk to you about these things. I am going through these difficulties in my life and I would require some help from you, and they will write a long message to you and then you reply K. That's not good. that is like you are not respecting the other person at all. Please don't ever do that. If you are not having the time to reply, at least tell that talk to you later. That's also fine. But don't ever reply K. It's not a good habit. It hurts the other person very much, even if it's a personal conversation or a professional conversation. But many people do that either due to lack of time or because they got offended by what that person told, or they are in their back of the mind there is something else running. But be conscious of, have some empathy about the other side. Be conscious about what the other person might go through if you tell this. Sometimes it is difficult. You might be going through a very hard time. You might end up saying it, but as much as possible, try to avoid that. Okay, 3 things I have discussed. Now the 4th thing is again WhatsApp. This is something I am guilty of many a times, but I have been advised that please don't do that. This is because especially when you are having professional conversations or even personal conversations in WhatsApp, you want to say a lot of things, and instead of sending it in one big message, you keep telling okay, then another message. The thing is, see, what happened was I had gone to meet this person. The order was not delivered. I had to talk to this person to lodge a complaint in the office, take up the docket number, all this as separate messages. So that might be your thought process, and you are sending messages as and when your new ideas are coming, but you have to look at the other side. That person might be driving, that person might be in the middle of a meeting, he might not have kept his phone in silent mode, even if it is in vibration mode. Every time your one message goes, it keeps vibrating. And imagine that you are trying to seal a deal through this conversation many times. That one gesture might be enough to spoil your deal. So whatever you want to say, especially when it's somebody not very close to you and you're just helpless that you have to have a WhatsApp conversation with them, try to put everything in 1 or 2 messages and send it. Don't send it in 100 messages. You don't know what situation that person might be in, what meeting they might be in. They might be driving and they might have been expecting your message, and they may not be in a position to look at your messages, and when such messages keep coming, they might think of a lot of things, that you are in trouble, something has happened, and they might land in trouble. They might be driving. So you have to think about all these things. So it is best if you can inculcate these ideas in your life slowly. It will help. So this is a short video. I want to tell you about few etiquettes. I will keep following up with other videos. Likewise, if you also feel there are a few modern day etiquettes that you have come across, please do share below. I will also get to know, other people in our community in this channel will get to know. If you liked, if you found this content useful, please give a like to this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Great. Do well, guys and girls. Bye.